Well, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the news at 1 p.m. on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Charity Jerome. First, the news headlines. Nigeria records highest daily COVID-19 cases in 7 months. Lagos State government bans street begging, begins arrest of beggars. On a foreign scene, Taliban leader orders release of political detainees. And in sports, Bayern Munich plays price tag on Robert Lewandowski as he calls for new challenge. Details of these and much more coming shortly. Nigeria witnessed a spike in COVID-19 cases yesterday, recording its highest daily cases in 7 months. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control confirmed 1,149 fresh infections for the day, 3 times higher than the 357 cases confirmed on Tuesday. Wednesday's figures also mark the first time the country is reporting more than 1,000 cases in a day since February 19th, when 1,492 cases were reported. Lagos, the epicenter of the pandemic in the country, had the most infections with 680. Rivers State had 157 infections. Akwa Ibom had 94. Oyo State had 56, Edo had 36, the FCT had 34, Ogun 31, and Ekiti had 20 cases. Other states with fresh cases are Delta with 16, 5 cases each in Abia, Nasarawa, and Osun. Cross River had 4, Plateau recorded 3, Sokoto had 2, and Kano 1. As of this morning, 184,593 people have been infected with COVID-19 in Nigeria, while a total of 2,236 people, unfortunately, have died so far, and 167,738 have been treated and discharged. President Muhammadu Buhari said that Nigeria lost an estimated $50 billion worth of investments in 10 years. This, according to him, was a result of the uncertainty of the non-passage of the petroleum industry bill, lack of progress, and stagnation in the petroleum industry. In his remarks at a ceremony on passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, which preceded the Federal Executive Council meeting, the president said the stagnation affected the growth of the economy, citing lack of political will on the part of past administrations to actualize the needed transformation. President Buhari said assent of the Petroleum Industry Bill on August 16, 2021, marked the end of decades of uncertainty and underinvestment in the petroleum industry. He said the administration believes that the timely passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill will help the country attract investments across the oil and gas value chain.
In the past 10 years, Nigeria has lost an estimated $50 billion worth of investments due to uncertainty created by the non-passage of the PIB. This administration believes that the timely passage of the petroleum industry bill will help our country attract investments across the oil and gas value chain. In view of the value our nation and investors will drive from a stable fiscal framework for the oil and gas industry. The presidential asset of the Petroleum Industry Bill on the 16th of August 2021, the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, marked the beginning of the journey towards a competitive and resilient petroleum industry that will attract investments to support our economic recovery and growth plan.
Meanwhile, following the final passage and subsequent signing into law of the Petroleum Industry Bill, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipriye Silva, has defended the 3% for host communities and 30% for frontier basin exploration. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources said that the philosophy behind the PIB, which is now the Petroleum Industry Act, was to attract investors. The minister disclosed this while responding to questions on the 3% allocation to host communities in in the PIB in Abuja. Silva said that President Muhammadu Buhari would today speak extensively on the act, which would help to develop the oil and gas sector.
It's not going to any government structure. It is a structure that will be set up between the communities and the company. The company that is operating in the risk community, it will set up a trust fund, and this trust will be developing and directly spending this money. It has nothing to do with government. That's why I said this is a fund that will now be targeted at the host communities. Host communities will make nominations into the trust. The companies will make nominations into the trust, and it will now target. And of course, the communities will come up with what they need, and it is now the company will now administer those contracts under their structure.
Well, to other matters now, the Supreme Court has described as fake a list being circulated online as names of lawyers penned for the award of Senior Advocate of Nigeria (SAN) rank for 2021. In a statement issued by the Director of Press and Information at the Supreme Court, Festus Akonde, the Apex Court distanced itself from the list. The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, the LPPC, a body chaired by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, gives the highly coveted award to deserving lawyers annually and is domiciled at the Supreme Court. The Apex Court spokesman noted that the 2021 list of SANs designate in circulation online did not emanate from the LPPC. Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki has assured that his government has no plans to increase taxes in the state. Rather, it seeks citizens' inclusiveness and participation in revenue generation and administration. He gave the assurance after a closed-door meeting with stakeholders in tax administration at the Edo State Internal Revenue Service EIRS head office in Benin City. Obaseki's visit to the State Internal Revenue Service office follows the expiration of the tenure of the board, adding that the State's Revenue Service needed to be re-energized before the appointment of a new board. The governor said the ratio of people who pay taxes compared to the taxable population in the state is very small, noting that there is no need to increase taxes.
The other reform we are looking at is collaborate a lot closer with the local governments so that we can consolidate both the taxes that are levies that the local governments are supposed to collect and those states are supposed to collect. So that way we can reduce the burden on our citizens. There's no reason why have a situation where different agencies and different tiers of government are running around and trying to get citizens to pay tax, whereas they can consolidate and have one tax assessment served on citizens, which will now break down what is due to the local government and what is due to the states. Today, the ratio of those who pay taxes relative to the population is very, very small. So the burden is only on the few who pay. Now, everybody who is earning revenue of some sort or income of some sort, by law, should pay something to the state.
Announced to security, a stakeholder security meeting has been convened in Sokoto State following the escalating occurrences of banditry attacks and other security breaches in the state. Political leaders, traditional and religious authorities, heads of security agencies and other important stakeholders were invited to the conference hosted by State Governor Aminu Tambuwal. Former governors and their deputies, as well as members of the national and state legislatures, were also part of the meeting. In his address to the gathering, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Tambuwal urged all attendees to make meaningful contributions and divulge to the gathering any information at their disposal to assist in finding a long-term solution to the state's security concerns.
Leaders of the state, irrespective of political differences, have come together in unison to discuss this very challenging issue and find lasting solution to it. That in itself is very significant. It has shown how all of us are concerned and worried about what is happening in the state, particularly what is happening in the eastern zone of the state. And we have all collectively resolved to work together as a family to find solution to this problem. And we have constituted a committee under the leadership of Examining the Sultan that will now collate all of the views and provide solutions to the problem of insecurity in Sokoto State.
And to Lagos now, the state government has banned street begging in the state and has begun massive raids and clearance of beggars and street urchins from the streets in the state. In order to achieve this, the state government set up a special team for the raid, which began immediately. The State Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Olusegun Daudu, told journalists that beggars on the streets were a nuisance to law-abiding citizens. He added that some of the beggars and hawkers were linked to crime in the city by assaulting and robbing city residents. The team is expected to begin operations in the next few days. Well, it's still the news at 1 p.m. here on Splash 105.5 FM. Still to come, Taliban leaders order release of political detainees, and Bayern Munich set prize for Robert Lewandowski as he calls for new challenge. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll bring you details of these and other stories. Do stay with us.
Need to see the best performance.
Thank you.
In person.
With almost 100,000 Instagram followers and over 100,000 followers on Twitter. Wow! And more than 250,000 followers on Facebook. Our followers are our greatest assets. Join our social media family for breaking news, daily information, and giveaways. On Instagram and Twitter at Splash FM 1055. On Facebook at www.facebook.com/Splash FM 105.5.
Splash FM 105.5.
Well, thank you so much for staying with us here on the news at 1 p.m. on Splash 105.5 FM. Turning to the foreign scene now, Taliban leader Habibatullah Akhundzada has ordered the unconditional release of political detainees from all Afghan prisons. Spokesman for the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, Qari Yusuf Ahmadi, today said that the political prisoners will reunite with their families tomorrow. The Taliban entered the Afghan city on August 15th, ending weeks-long offensive and resulting in the collapse of the U.S.-backed government. Meanwhile, President Joe Biden of the U.S. said U.S. troops may stay in Afghanistan beyond his withdrawal deadline as armed Taliban fighters kept desperate evacuees from reaching Kabul's airport. And back home in Africa, Burkina Faso's president has declared 3 days of national mourning from today after suspected jihadists killed 47 people, including 30 civilians in an attack in the north of the country. The attack was the latest bloodshed in an area plagued by Islamist violence. The Communications Ministry disclosed that the assault, which occurred yesterday near the town of Jogaji, also left 14 soldiers and 3 militia volunteers dead. According to the government, security forces killed 58 terrorists and put the rest to flight, while 19 people were also wounded in an ensuing gun battle. It was the third major attack by Burkinabe soldiers in the past 2 weeks, including one on August 4th near the Niger border, which killed 30 people, including 11 civilians. And finally, in sports, Robert Lewandowski has reportedly told Bayern Munich that he wants a new challenge. The 32-year-old striker, who moved to Bayern from Borussia Dortmund in 2014, was linked with a move to Chelsea earlier in the transfer window before Bayern president Herbert Hennier shut down speculations. Lewandowski turns 33 this weekend and is valued by the club at £100 million. Bayern have not currently offered any extension beyond his current deal, when it could be more difficult to secure a move to another big club because of his age. The Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has lauded Nigeria's 4x400 meters mixed relay team for their historic feat at the ongoing World Athletics Under-20 Championships in Nairobi, Kenya. The winning team, comprised of Johnson Namani, Iniabong Insi Uko, Okweyemi Oke, and Bamidele Ajayi, set a 3 minutes 90.70 seconds African and championship record to become the first winners of the event at the championship. It was also Nigeria's first medal in the championship, which began on Wednesday in Kenya. The delighted sports minister advised the athletics body to take the victory as a springboard in restoring Nigeria's past glory. And just before we go, here's a quick recap of the major headlines. Nigeria has recorded highest daily COVID-19 cases in 7 months. Lagos State government has banned street begging, begins arrest of beggars. On the foreign scene, we told you that the Taliban leader has ordered release of political detainees. And in sports, Bayern Munich have placed a price tag on Robert Lewandowski as he calls for a new challenge. For more details on the news, you can visit our website on www.splashfm1055.com. Now you can download the Splash FM mobile app on iOS, BlackBerry World, and Google Play Store to listen live, get news updates, and opinion poll. You can also report an event live to us through the iReports feature. To download, simply go to any of the stores mentioned and search for Splash FM 105.5 and then click. We've now come to the end of the news on Splash 105.5 FM, the integrity station and the best radio station in the southwest of the country. The news editor is Tunde Olawuwo, assisted by Ayo Olubusi. I am Charity Jerome. Good afternoon and thank you for listening.
Quick, Charger 240.
Hot news, cool vibes, sports, and more